Hey, Don here. Okay, back with another live stream. I'm gonna go back to work on the NetProMax. Had to look, make sure what machine I'm working on. Let's see. I think I'm gonna do it. Okay. What I'm gonna do? Oh yeah, first I gotta set up. I'm get on the desktop. The darn stream was acting up again. It threw me out completely. Threw me off. I had to restart it twice. So we're on the desktop. Well, let's make sure everything's working. Let's unmute over here. Okay. So I always look at now. I've got this up because I was. See, I probably have two of them by now. You have to wait. It tries to wait for you to start. Like if your stream drops off, it looks like it waits 30 seconds to a minute. And if it does come back, like if I kill it on purpose because if it starts out yellow, there's no. It may just get worse in my experience. So I just keep restarting until I get a green one, unless I just don't think I'm going to get one. The other day I did start one on yellow, and it cleared up in about minute or two or 5 minutes or whatever. But anyway, so I've got my USB stick, which has Fedora 28 plugged in, and the U3 system there. That's a little 64 megabyte partition that has some Windows apps on it that it won't let me delete. That's I've got two of them. They've been good USB sticks. They're SanDisk brand. I think they're probably made better than the ones I almost bought while I was looking at USB sticks and SD cards. They were on sale, and I saw SanDisk. I thought, well, mine are good. Maybe I'll get some. And they were, 128 gigabyte for $19.99. And then I went to looking at the reviews, and there's two things. One of them said that they would go bad and break real quick, and the other, a whole bunch of reviews that were saying this. And then some were saying I got a 30 gigabyte stick, and stuff like that, when it was supposed to be whatever, 64 or whatever. Saying that they had been, somebody was sending them fake ones. So, of course, that's one thing that's really gotten out of hand this is on Amazon, on the reviews is, you're just looking at reviews on that brand, and like I say, I bought a hard drive. Well, you're looking at hard drives, but you're not looking at that hard drive, the reviews. And unless somebody says which one they got, you don't know. It's just getting kind of ridiculous. And I look at Walmart, and they don't hardly have any reviews, but I don't think their reviews are on different products, so that might be why, But anyway. And I don't hardly ever write reviews. I can't. I've tried a few times to write reviews, bad ones, because I was very unhappy on Amazon. That's the only time I want to do it, and a lot of people are that way, I think. And they kept rejecting it, saying you didn't do this right, you didn't do that right, or you can't say this, you can't say that. So that's another thing about their review system. It's just how. And the funny thing is, I wasn't saying anything different, even as bad against the product as some other people you see on the reviews. So I just never did. And I kept trying. I don't know why I'm talking about this. I tried I had made videos, so I tried to upload the videos. And if you go off the page or anything, you lose your upload. And I lost the upload. I tried 2 or 3 times to upload videos, and I lost it every time because I forget, And if the page gets reloaded or anything. And then, like I said, what you write in the review, you don't put that here, put it there, or whatever. Or anyway, okay. So back to my USB stick, Fedora 28. I was going to go ahead and put that. I've already got it on the NetProMax, and I worked on trying to get that DNS server, but it was on a 10 gigabyte hard drive. I did have it. It's not on there now because I put the 80 gigabyte hard drive in the previous video just today. I went ahead and put the 80 gigabyte hard drive in there that used to be in my IBM Fedora 23 server. And I don't think there's anything wrong with the hard drive. It's old, but it's still working great. One night, I remember I kept waking up and the power kept going out. I kept hearing things coming back on, and it was 3 to 5 times. It was a lot. And I didn't even think nothing about it because, usually it doesn't hurt Linux systems to have power go out on them, And
my server was in the garage, and I actually didn't feel good during that time, and I didn't go out there for about a week. Well, it had been down the whole time. It was running but not booted up, because I was setting the BIOS for them to come back on automatically at power loss, to boot back up. But the operating system didn't boot up. And what it turned out, we made a bunch of videos of it, and if you wanted interested. But what it turned out to be was the LVM, the logical volume management, now in the newer Fedora systems holds it holds a home partition, which is ext4 inside of the LVM, and the root partition is ext4 inside of the LVM. They didn't used to do it that way. They used to just or at least if they did, I'd never caught on. And then the boot partition is an ext4, and it's a small partition. Well, I could get to the boot and the home, but not the root, and that's where my website is. Well, it's in var, but that's under the root partition, and folder var HTML or whatever. But anyway, var www.html, I think that's how it goes. So anyway, I couldn't get to it, and when I looked at my backups on my website, I thought, oh man, that's kind of old. So I really wanted to try to get it, so I really tried hard, but I couldn't get it. So if there was anything any newer, it doesn't look to me like it, but if there was anything newer on my live website, then it's gone. But I don't edit it very often, so probably didn't lose anything anyway. But right now, I'm running my website off of my Fedora 14 system, because the Gateway 500 that I've been using is, I don't know why I'm just sitting here showing the desktop. I thought I was going to go straight to it. The Fedora 14 system is on my red black valve star. I can see it right over there. This morning I went ahead and booted it up and forwarded my routers to it. I had to go through two routers to get to it, the D-Link and then the TP-Link, and it had an old version of my website, so I had to update that. But now it's been running all day, and it's fine. But being that it's, well, I guess newer than the Gateway, that's like the Bane 6 out there, I think. But anyway, I don't really like. I just use the web server on it as like a testing ground. I don't really like opening it up to the internet in case somebody did break into it. Then, I had all kinds of personal files on that machine. And my web servers, I don't put anything important on it. If I do put any personal files, they're not important ones, And that's why I was using smaller hard drives, because I thought, well, I just don't want to have space for personal files, and I won't do it, But 20 gig, wasn't big enough. By the time I got, Fedora 28, and this was headless. This didn't even have no graphic user interface or anything. Well, it wasn't really headless. I had it plugged into a monitor and a keyboard, but it could be run headless. And I've got one of those hanging things. I just trimmed one just a while ago. Maybe I missed this one. I hate those things, drive me crazy. And I was looking for my trimmers. I guess I put them back up over there in their spot. So what I figured out is my Gateway 500 is about to die, or something's wrong with it. Well, actually, today, it looked like it was running fine, but it was offline. So I think it's a combination between that router dying. I know the router's about dying because it's not working right anymore. And but it may be that sometimes when I reboot my router, that one hooks back up as the wireless repeater. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's a wireless repeater, and that's how I get my internet all the way out into the garage, is by using a wireless repeater. And then I can plug, wired machines into that router out there. And I've been doing that for years. I used to use a Zonet that was made to do that, and the Linksys wasn't, but then I put DDWRT firmware on it, and it'll do it now. And so, but by the time I decided to do that, it was already getting on its last legs. It already had it's a 4-port router, and the WGRT, whatever, the one that everybody likes. And but I was using it in here for years. I had my server plugged into it. I had to, because it's the only one that would forward to it, right, until I got the D-Link. TP-Link wouldn't do it. So anyway, it may be it may be losing connection more than I realized, and I do know that sometimes I go out there when I'm offline, when I see that my server, I get a report that my server's offline. Then it's not. There's no video on the screen, and it's not locked up. There's no video on the screen. You can tell by looking at it, like usually by what the monitor, what color the monitor is. If it's locked up. Well, if it's locked up, you usually see your screen, but it's locked up and your mouse won't respond. That's what I'm saying. Or if it was Windows, the old famous blue screen. Linux doesn't have a blue screen. There is a, what is it, green or something. I've only seen it about 3 times, and since I got into Linux in 2005, and I have seen it, but I remember when I first learned about it, I thought that was kind of funny that it was a different color, but it did exist, especially not ever seeing it, never having it happen. I didn't think it ever happened. But wow, I'm tired and I'm rambling, and I'm just starting. I just want to go straight to work. Okay, so let's go straight to work. I don't know why I'm rambling, because I just said why I'm tired. Okay, I'm ready to get started. I have the Fedora 28, and I decided not to use 28. I'm going to use 29 because I have 29 already downloaded, and it's not, I don't think it's officially out yet, but it's released or whatever, but it's just going to be real soon, they said on the website the other week or so or 2 ago. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Oh, wait. Yeah, Fedora Server Netinstall. That's what I want. Okay. For a minute, I thought that I was on Make Config, and I thought that one down there, it says, ARCH64. That always throws me off because there's one that is actually for ARM processors. Okay, ARCH64. What is the difference? That ARCH64 could be the one for ARM processors. Is it? I better go look on the website because I could have got the wrong one. I think AARCH64 might be for ARM processors. I deleted one of them because I thought, I don't want what that's. I thought it was something. They used to call it ARM, ARM, for ARM processors. Let's go to the website. I may have messed up. I don't want to do that. If I decide, at first I was, I've been saying I was going to put 28 on this. So I'll put the 80 gig hard drive on it. So I'll have plenty of room to do whatever I want. If I decide to do, I've always wanted to I used to have some dynamic websites when I was using GoDaddy's, when I was renting servers from GoDaddy's for years. I did that until I started using my own servers, but it got to where it was just too expensive, and I got into servers and I learned how to do it, so there was just no sense in me paying for something I know how to do, trying to see if if I have an HTML page that goes straight to the Fedora site, I could go use that to get started. Then all the links on it usually still work. Let's see. Well, let's go Fedora 29, download. I'll go there, and then I'll try to find the rest of it from there. There, Fedora server. This is probably, this is 29. Maybe it's released because it went straight to, unless that page was for 29. But anyway, yeah, AARCH64 images, x86-64, net install. This is what I want, and this is what I've got. Pretty sure, I think it tells you right there, and that's probably why I messed up. Yeah, I figured that out recently, I think. ARM, there it is, get more ARM technology. Well, that's the ARM right there. Let's see. And I've been wanting to try that out on my Raspberry Pi. I don't know if it'll run one that new or not, 29. But
See if it shows you the name of the ARM. Okay, it does say ARM. I'm looking down at the bottom of the screen. You know where you're going comes up, and it says Fedora Server ARM HFP 2912. Okay. Then there's a desktop. Okay. So what is Arch 64? x86 64. What is the difference? I think that is something different, and it's not telling you right here on this page, at least not without. See if the release note says something. It's not on that page. Okay. Well, I'm going to do a search for need to put Fedora in it. ARM. I think that is what it's for. Oh, it's for the Raspberry Pi. That other one was probably for generic ARM, and these are for the Raspberry Pi. Oh, look. But that's what I see right there. Where's that wiki? It might be in. So that's why I downloaded it. You have to see what kind of processor you got too. See, that's ARM v7 and ARM, so on and so forth. So if mine is a Model B, I think. So I'm going to put that in my Fedora 29 folder. So I thought I was all ready to set it up. Okay, so I was right that that's not the image I want. So, or I mean, I'm right now. I was wrong when I downloaded. I was mixed up. Okay, so I see it. I saw it more. I don't know. Maybe they did it differently. I don't know what, but Netinstall x86-64. This machine's a 64-bit, and that's why I want to use it, because then I can install things that I clicked on download, and it went to the verified download page. What the heck? Do that one more time. Verify your download. Is it down? Oh, it was downloading it. This time I clicked on it without hitting control. I hit control to open it up in a new. Oh, I see. It automatically went to the verify your download page. So it's almost done. I knew it wouldn't take very long because I got a 200 megabit. Oh, I think I'm getting it twice. Yeah, I'm getting it twice. So I've already downloaded it twice. I've got a 200 megabit download speed, so that's pretty good. Okay. Now I need to verify. Let's go ahead and put that in the. Oh, okay. I need that. Oh, well, I didn't have to do that. What I want to do is save it. So yeah, if you don't already know how to do that, then you need to save your checksum file. And then you can go
you don't know how to see, it's telling you how to do the different things, but I'm fixing to show. Okay. Oh, okay. Boot meter. Where's the verify? There's the instructions for verifying it. Okay. Now I've got server. Yeah, I want 64-bit images. Oh. Well, I think that's what I've already downloaded, but let's download it again to make sure. Save pages. Now, in this case, you save pages. Oh, yeah. Do you want to place it? No. Okay, so I'm looking for the instructions. Oh, they're right there. Okay. So we don't need to be root. Let's go ahead and put these in the folder that I want them in. So I'm going to make, that's my Fedora 29 folder. So let's get back to the downloads folder. Thought I had downloaded it twice. I know I saw 2 downloads. Oh, one of them failed. One of them didn't. Well, I was clicking all over the place because I didn't think it was working, but this one worked. Okay, so there's a good, darn sure want to make sure you got the good image. Okay, so I'm going to move those over. Now, if I've already got anything, it'll tell me, of course, any of that. Did I hit move? Yeah, it's just taking a minute. I still don't like it because the only thing you got's that deal up there, and I never think to look at it. I'm like that little window that used to pop up right there. Okay, now go back to my videos folder so I can keep track on that as I'm going. Now, instead of opening up a terminal over there, I'm going to open up the terminal in that folder. And you don't have to be root privileges. Really thought I had laid my trimmers back down in front of my laptop, but I guess I didn't. Okay, opened up. I was waiting on it to open up. All right, now I got to get my commands over here, but now I may already have them because I've done this before, but import those Fedora keys, import the keys, that's what it says. I just always do it all to make sure I've got it. Everything works, even if I've done it, you know, an hour, 2 hours ago. Now, verify your checksums. You have to be on the right page to do all that. See, as long as it just returns back to the terminal, it usually won't tell you anything. It'll just go back to the terminal. Where's the other one at? Yeah. Somewhere in there. I guess it was right there. But anyway, yeah, I can see it now. But if it doesn't give you any error messages, then you know it worked. Now then, am I doing anything wrong here? Yeah, okay. Now, and see when they're all in the same folder like that, it'll check them all. Hit enter. And it'll say no such file because I haven't downloaded them all. It's checking them all, but I don't have them all. So once it gets done, I see one that's okay. That's the Netinstall ISO. And is it done yet? It's not quite done yet, so let's wait. So don't worry about the failed if you don't have the file. If you don't have that ISO, that doesn't mean anything. Failed to find it, you know. Failed to open or read. You see that, then that means you don't have the file. Now it's done. Now it's easier than looking through all that. You can do a find. Look for OK. Now they all highlight, see? So compiz is good. Netinstall x8664, that's the one I just downloaded. and AARCH is good. So that's what we want. Let's put that right there by the one I just downloaded. Doing a screenshot. Okay. So now we know the image is good, and especially since could have been a bit of doubt when I had a failed download. Okay, so that's easy when you have those commands. Otherwise, you know, they're not easy command. I mean, you'd have to be a real command line person to remember something that long. To me, I mean, that's just, I don't even try. Well, I'm not good at. I can't barely remember the simplest ones, so I don't try. It wouldn't do me a lot of things, you know, that. What am I trying to say? You know, I have to try, of course, to remember or learn anything, but there's just some things that I know I can't do. So, now what you use, now notice, well, normally I would have my Seagate backup drive showing up right there. It was mounted. I always have it plugged in when I boot up. It mounts automatically, and that's my 4.5 terabytes. What you get out of a 5 terabyte. That's what it was when it was new. But you know, I don't want to. That is a USB drive, so I don't want to risk hurting that. You know, formatting it, doing anything to damage it. So I unmount it and unplug it. So the only one I have plugged in now, I happen to plug this in first and then do that. So that's why there's a space there. So now I'm going to do open up Fedora Media Writer and write this ISO to that 2 gigabyte stick I have there. Now, you've inserted the SanDisk Cruiser pattern 2 gigabyte that already contains a live system. Do you want to restore it to factory settings? Now, you might think, yeah, better do that because, and then it depends on which kind of writer you're using. You may have to. What it means is reformat it, and I don't wish they would just say that instead of talking in Greek. You know, here, trying to make it trying to make it easier makes it harder most of the time. And some of those things are not that complicated, like formatting and formatting and partitioning a disk. You should just say that. Do you want to reformat it? It's not going to go to factory settings. Came out of the factory with that U3 system, which it can't be touched. It's locked. I mean, I tried to every which way to Sunday to get rid of that because it's useless, taking up 64 megabytes on a 2 gig stick. And what it's going to reformat it to is FAT32 or ext4. Well, this one was FAT32. I'll give them that. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is exFAT is what most of them come as now. Okay, but if you kick the 3 dots like you think you're on a phone, you'll find more stuff, and I'm going to have to make it bigger so I can see it. Now, these are all the things that it would download. Now, this is cool, and you could use that. You don't have to download the image like I did and do all that stuff I just did, but it's good to know how to do that because if you're going to use, for instance, Netinstall, it's not in the list. All these others it would do for you. All the remixes or whatever they call them now, spins, and labs. They call these labs. But what I want is a server, and so you have to download the server. So you use custom image. So I'm going to go to my downloads, Fedora 29. Now I want, Fedora. Since it's I always usually leave them. That's why I like to have the newest on top because that's what you hit when you go in there. So I don't want to make compiz this time, and I didn't. Well, I wanted that in case I want to put it on the Raspberry Pi, but I don't want it right now. I want the one I just downloaded, the x86-64. Now, if there is a 32-bit, well, there was in 28, and there probably is in 29. But you'll have to go find it in the alternate download area, I guess, because I didn't see it in there. So anyway, okay. Now see, it sees the SanDisk Cruiser pattern, 2 gigabytes, and you can't look at any other drives because there is no other. And here it doesn't give the in some of the other ones, the old like the older Fedora Media Writer, I think it would actually let you put it
select a hard drive, and you could destroy your operating system real quick. So, but if that other USB drive was in there, it would show on both, and it would probably have defaulted to that. And if you weren't paying attention, you might do that. So, because it's the first one, it was already mounted before this one, I think is why it happens that way. But anyway, see, by writing, you will lose the data, so and so and so and so. Now, I think, yeah, I don't think I needed to restore. Like I said, maybe I'm forgetting, but I should be able to just do this, and it should just work. Now, put in your root password. Yeah, it's not giving me any errors or anything. You would think that, well, you need to reformat it. And with other writers, like I said, you did need to reformat to make space. But I believe this is going to, I think what it's going to do is reformat it. It's either going to, what it used to say, it used to come up, what I was expecting it to do is come up and say, oh, well, there's another version of, what it used to do is come up and say, oh, wait. Your drive will be resized to a smaller capacity. You may resize it back to normal by using Fedora Media Writer. This will remove installation media from your drive. So and so, so and so, so and so. Okay, well, now what it has done before is say, there's another version of Fedora on here. Would you like to replace it with this version? And I'll say yes. And that way you don't have to go through that other extra step and extra time of reformatting with that restore button. And for me, that restore button was very confusing because I'm very familiar with, you know, formatting disks and drives and USB sticks. And pretty much anybody that's going to want to do this, well, okay, you may be new to it, but you should learn it, what it really is. You shouldn't be learning, do you want to restore it to factory condition? That's not even close to what's happening. So that's, I know they're trying to make it easier for people to do it that don't know how to do it, but I think that's making it more dangerous to really screw things up. Because if you don't learn what's going on, and you don't realize that you're erasing the disk and, you know, the drive, the flash, hard drive, whatever you're talking about, then you won't know how important it is to pay attention to what you're doing. Now, while this is happening, I'm trying to get rid of that hanger that's driving me crazy. I just remembered I remembered it a while ago, but I wanted to go on. There we go. I have clippers in my pocket on my key ring, fingernail clippers. I've always kept a pair on there because you never know when you'll get. Well, I used to use them to pull splinters when I worked in the cabinet shop. You can use them that way, and if you're at work and you get a bad splinter, or I've even cut them out before because they were so bad that you couldn't pull them, or maybe you cut them off with those trimmers or whatever, but or maybe they're big enough you could grab them with your finger, but they still broke. Okay, it's finished. So anyway, they're kind of dull because they've been in my pocket rubbing against coins and stuff. Or well, actually, no, I don't keep coins in that size, but rubbing against keys. Yeah. Okay, so it's finished. Delete the downloaded image. Well, no, heck no. Okay, why would you even offer to do that? Don't delete nothing on my drive. Okay, so I think it's going to be okay. It didn't say it wouldn't be okay. Let's see. I would like to look at it. So I guess I'll unplug it. Well, first I'll unmount that one. It's always best to unmount. Don't just unplug stuff. Let's see if we've got what we expect on there. And I don't know why. That just started coming up recently. No application found. But I don't really want it to open up in an application necessarily anyway. I guess I would maybe this one. But so let's go up here so we can find it. Anaconda, that's part of it. See, it goes Anaconda partition, that's 9.7 megabytes. Another Anaconda partition that's 20.5 megabytes. The U3 system, which is little Windows, and 1 gigabyte hard disk. That must be it. Yeah, and then 50 gigabyte. Yeah, See, that's my root partition, and that's my home partition. And your boot partition is hidden, it doesn't show up. But here's what I want to know. Yeah, okay. Fedora. Not seeing anything that says 29 on it. It says 28. Oh, this is 28. FC 28. It said it did it, but unless there was enough room to put them both on there, I didn't think it could make a dual boot. It may not have worked. It didn't do like it usually does, but it didn't say give me an error either. So all says 28. So I may have to go and do that, restore the factory position. Either that or reformat it to. It's easy to use that. That's easier than manually doing it. That all says 28. So I don't think I've got. Let's go see what the rest of them look like. EFI. Oh yeah, that's for booting on EFI systems. UEFI or whatever. Oh, what's this? Be there, Fedora 29. I didn't see that. I don't understand what it's done, to be honest. I guess I'll boot it up on the machine and see. I can't. I'm doing the video on this one, so it may have ended up giving me a dual boot stick. It may have used. I certainly don't want. Oh yeah, I just realized it's only 500 something megabytes for this Netinstall. Oh, that's one good advantage of it. So it might have actually done. It might actually have kept them both. So I'm going to close this. For one thing, it won't let go of this until you do. Let go of this drive. Let's try this first. Eject. Okay, that didn't. I guess you have to unmount all of them separately. Looks like, or maybe that one, and it'll get both of them. Oh, there's the other part of it right there. Fedora 29. That's different. So we'll see. It would be nice if that you could actually, have more than one operating system on there. If I had bigger drives, at least. Okay, now put this in that other machine. I'd have to move cameras all around to show it, but that NetProMax is different than any machine I've ever seen. It has USB ports at the front, but they're on the side, and usually I have it set where I can't hardly get to them, and they're right there where I can get to them easy. But I'm saying it's on the table, and I was afraid I'd go by and break it. I'm still afraid of that. So I couldn't hit the back without getting up and looking. Let me get up and look, because I'm scared of the way it is. Well, I hit it just right without even look. I didn't get to where I could actually see it. I just got, I don't know, I guess I had it in my right hand, stood to my left, and I just hit it perfect. Basically the same way I was trying to do it, but I was using my left hand. Anyway, okay, so I think I'll switch. Yeah, to get started, to be able to show you, I'll get on camera too, so I'll be showing the monitor Oh, yeah, now I got to switch to the other machine. I'm showing the monitor on the camera. Well, I just noticed something. It's not showing anything, is it? Let's go back to the desktop. Go to camera 1. Okay, it's working. Now camera 2 didn't come up. So that means that something went wrong. So let me... I'm going to have to go over there. The app must have quit or something happened. Okay, now let me get on the other mic so I can talk to you while I go over here and try to fix this. Yeah, I know it was a bad echo when you have them both on at the same time. Okay, now it was working a while ago too. That's aggravating. Oh, let's look in the browser and see if it's streaming. Went to my... Yeah, my stream wasn't down. My brain is down. I've been up a long time now. I'm getting tired. But I wanted to do this. Okay, so there it goes. Now, oh, the zoom is still set, but it's not working. Reload this page, maybe it'll be all right. Now, there we go. Now, I figured it would have moved on me after. It doesn't take much to move it. Just getting over there and turning it on and off and stuff messes it up. Messed it up. Oops. I actually didn't leave that. I couldn't see it all. Okay, that's pretty good. Now all I gotta do is get it lined up left to right. There we go. Okay. And I cleaned the cache of temp files on all 3 phones before I started today too. I mentioned that lately that I needed to do that because I think, well, if you don't, after a while they just will run out of space because they have only 2 gigabyte or 4. Is it 2 or 4? They're not. I think they're 4. But anyway, there's the onboard flash memory is where all that stuff goes. They don't have that much space, so I'm going to do that in case they get moved just a little bit. Now, it's hard to tell sometimes. I think that's better. Okay, now, close the browser again. Now, what were we going to do? We were going to go ahead and boot it up. Okay. Cam 1, Cam 2. Let's see, let's go ahead and get back to the SM58 too. Okay, let's see if that looks like it's working. Yeah. And I will actually listen to it too. Okay. Switch to the other machine. All right, here we go. It's booting up. Now let's see if it actually works right. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to pause it there and take a look. Fedora 8.13.100, i686. Fedora 8.12, that's a different kernel. 8.10, that's a different kernel. Got 3 kernels on there. Rescue, huh? Now where's the FC23? Oh, it didn't get the USB stick. I thought something looked wrong there. That's the original operating system. See, it's all still on the hard drive. Well, that's what's on the 80 gig that was in the IBM. That wouldn't probably, well, it might boot on here if it wasn't broken, but it's broken. So, see if we can hit Control-Alt-Delete and get it to reboot. Doesn't seem like it's going to do it. So I got to hit F12 or whatever to get into. I'm going to hard shut it down. It actually rebooted. I hit the button and tried to hold it in. I guess I let it go too quick or something. Delete. I get excited and I don't know what to do. As soon as I realize what it said, then I don't know what to do. Okay, so boot. Yeah, some of these machines, they don't. Removable device. Yeah. Okay, that part's good. Yeah. It's like it didn't see it. Oh, yeah, okay, I got to move the... It sees it as a hard drive, or listed as a hard drive. Most of them list them as USB drives, you know. Okay, now, put it on the top. What about... Oh, and it also sees it as a CD-ROM drive. So I'll put them both on top, and then it should save changes and exit. Now it'll boot to my USB stick. Yeah, what seems to be a simple proposition isn't always all that simple. Just like as many times as I've made, you know, boot sticks on those same USB sticks, sometimes I forget, but sometimes it says 29. That's all it says. Kind of weird. This time I'm going to test it. It doesn't take that long. Test and install. No, wait. Well, I want to do the remote. Well, let's test it anyway, because it's you know, written to that USB, and especially since I'm kind of wondering about what I did, it didn't take everything off of there that was already on there, and I was saying, well, maybe it'll do boot to either one, but it just left that stuff on there. I guess just because it had enough space. If it didn't have enough space, I guess that's when you get the notice saying, hey, you don't have enough space. Do you want to get rid of all this stuff? And I would say, yes, that's what I was planning on doing. But I guess that's because I'm used to using the mate images, which are, you know, like 1.5 gig or something. So we'll let it check it. And then you should always do that the first time you boot a, you know, whatever, USB, CD, SD card. that's bootable like that. Because you really, you could go spend, like I'm planning on spending, it's going to take some time to get set up what I want on there. That's the cool thing about Netinstall is you can pick a whole lot more. Well, for one thing, it downloads whatever you pick, and that takes a while to install, but you can pick a whole lot more. You can just pretty well almost completely set up your system from the, instead of getting a base system, you can put all the different sets of software you want on there. I think you can even do, I figured out, I was playing with it on my Acer laptop the other day, and I think you can even now, it lets you select things in different categories. I'll show you when I get there. And when you switch back and forth, they don't go away. So I think that you can do, I figured out how you can not only get, all the server stuff you want, but also get, I'm going to want to make, well, actually, on this one, I'll put XFCE desktop because it's only a single core. It's 2.8 gigahertz, but it's a single core Celeron, and it has 2 gig of RAM, so I don't want Mate desktop. It'd be 2. He wouldn't handle it good. And once I get through all this part, I can actually, I've got my little note sitting there waiting. I can edit the Grub boot menu. It's like a one-time edit. And it will, wait, check is complete. Oh, it didn't, it stopped and telling me. Anyway, I'm going to boot it to VNC and do remote desktop, and then you'll have a real nice picture. Okay, the media check is complete. The result is fail. So yeah, see, just when you least expect it. So I would have had a real headache. It's not recommended to use this media. Because the control process exited with error code, see system CTL status, check ISO mod, so-and-so, fatal CD check failed, refusing. Okay, I'm going to redo it. I'm hard shutting it down, but it still hasn't shut down yet. I've got my finger holding that button in. Come on. I think it's kind of waiting. Actually, nothing's responding. Try one more time. I know when you turn this one on, sometimes you have to kind of really, maybe that switch is not so super responsive. It will not shut down. I'll do the power on the back. I think it has a power switch. Oh, it doesn't. It's acting like it's going to start up again. It may do it or it may. I think this time it really is going to start up. So, yeah, I should have done a restore to factory. Now it's going to try to go into. I didn't do anything in time. I was trying to think. Oh, I did that again. It kind of froze up during the headlights. I thought, well, do it. Should I hit the keyboard, to stop it from continuing to boot, or should I just hold the power button in? While I was thinking about it, it booted. So now I really don't want. I mean, it's not a big deal. Oh, it just rebooted. Okay, I guess it won't boot in there. Okay, now it's shut down instantly. Okay, let's get back to my machine. I meant to switch to desktop first. Okay, so I've already hit. Really matter where I'm. Okay, yeah, there it is. It mounted up. This time it didn't ask me what I wanted to do with it. Okay, so I'm going to open Fedora Media Writer again, and this time I'll do it right. Okay. Now, I want a custom image. This time I know where I'm going. So. x86. Now, where's the little thing that says, oh, I forgot, didn't I? You inserted this that already has a live system. Do you want to restore the factory settings? This time I'm going to say yes. Now, let's make sure, yeah, we don't have another disk. And it says SanDisk Cruiser pattern 2 gigabytes. Okay. Restore. The drive was successfully restored. Now, did it really delete all that quick? Now, custom image. Went right back where I was. That's nice. Okay. Fedora 29, x86, 64. Open. SanDisk Cruiser pattern. Nothing else could be chosen. That's why I like to unplug that. Oh, there's that little note saying, what do you want to do? It just took a while. I was already half done with what I was doing. Uh-oh. Machine's didn't crash, did it? Just look at there. It's got the video thing there. Let me see what we got going. I remember having trouble with this Fedora Media Writer before. For a while there, it was crashing a lot. So I'm going to hit cancel. Oh, wait. I don't like that. That worries me. I'm going to hit cancel because I can at least see that. And when it goes away, I'll wait till it goes away before I try to open it again. It hasn't shown closed yet. Looks like maybe it's not going to. I'll wait. I may have to. Oh no, it's still right there. Fedora. It didn't unmount it. I thought it had unmounted it. Oh look, there's part of it still there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end it. Now, I hope it doesn't act up. I think it's best to leave it in there. I'm not sure, but I think so. Okay, I'll try opening it up again. It worked perfectly a while ago. I know one thing. Making it full screen. Oh, it's asking me, do I want to restore it again? Maybe it didn't work. Thought it was awful fast. Claim the space. Factory line. Yes, restore. Yeah, this is what I was expecting. Something didn't go right before. There we go. Okay, now it only shows the U3 system. That's what I thought. The only reason I was making it full size was so that I could read everything. Now, Fedora 29, okay. Before I couldn't read everything. Yeah, okay, SanDisk. Make sure you don't get anything wrong. That makes it much better not to have any other USBs in there. Used to, like I said, you had to worry about your hard drives too and pay attention. So, all right. Root password. It should be okay this time, but I'm glad I did its check, and I'm gonna go ahead and check it again after when I boot it back up. And if it doesn't work at this time, then I'll figure there's something wrong and there's a bug in it. And no, the image is supposed to be good because we did that check on it. Now that is one thing when you download it with Fedora Media Writer. I guess it checks the images, but it does. From what I remember, I've done it. It doesn't tell you it's checking the image to see if it's good and all that stuff. You'd kind of think it would. It would take a minute there and tell you. Maybe the way it downloads it, it's checked or something. I don't know. But you have to download it first and then check it. I know that. See, it doesn't take very long to write it. Well, it's only 550 megabytes, something like that. I didn't pay much attention. But 530, 40 something megabytes. That's the Netinstall. Oh, that's the reason it was so fast. I thought, man, that was fast. Because it's not a, 1.5. Well, I'm used to them being 1.5 to 3 gigs of Fedora images, but that's because I usually get the mate and the, different desktops along with them. Checking written data, so it does do that, which it did that a while ago, I'm sure. Don't remember right this minute, but what I don't know why it would. I guess what it did was only write the parts that were missing. But they're not the same. The other stuff that was already on there is Fedora 28. So why would it not be set up to recognize that other stuff and either override it or finished, successful, override it, and I definitely don't want to delete the download image. Okay. Do something. Like I said before, it would say, oh, well, you need... Well, I guess it didn't do it because there was enough space, but still, it failed. And the last time I tried that, there was another time when it failed, when I did it like I did the first time. Okay, let's get it in the machine. Well, first let's get everything all set up to show it. Okay, looks like it's going to work this time. All right, now I'm turning it on. There we go. Let's see if, let's see if we have time to get into BIOS. You may not see that stick again. It may and it may not. I think I missed it already. No, I made it. All right, boot device. Let's see. Got to go to hard disk drives. Yeah, it's backwards from what I expect it to be like. Okay. Yeah. And if you have removable on top, then it'll do it. Oh, well, but look, it won't do it. That actually is not what makes... It doesn't see it as a removable device. It sees it as a hard drive. That's the only BIOS I know of that does that I can think of, that I've ever ran across. They always see them, either don't see them or see them as a, if they're older, or see them as a USB removable device. Maybe because, no, this is too old to have been getting ready for flash solid state hard drives, which are flash memory. Yeah, I think they are flash memory, just like flash drives. Okay, we're going to check it again. I don't know now. I knew 5 minutes ago for sure what kind of drive they are. The actual memory in them. But anyway, whatever they are. This machine's way before those, so it wasn't getting ready for them. Yeah, now I'm watching the countdown. It's going pretty fast. It's 20. Before I could say 25, it's 35. You know, it's fast. Past 50% now. I'm sure there was a counter a while ago, and I was busy jabbering away and didn't even see it, and it finished, and I still was thinking, why ain't it done yet? Now, see, it goes on. And when it's finished and it passes, then it just goes on and boots. Let's see now. I want to catch it if I can, because I want to edit the boot menu. Because I want to boot it to with the VNC. Turn on the VNC Remote Desktop Server. I think it's already booting in. Yeah, it is. So I'll have to. Yeah, I did this last time I did this. When I did 28, I did the same thing. I mean, last time I had trouble because I didn't have anything on the stick, but or maybe I did the restore. I don't know. So it's going to get all the way into the boot screen, then I got to shut it back down or reboot it or whatever. I guess I could interrupt it, but flash drives, USB sticks or SD cards, you can damage them if you interrupt them when they're being read heavily, or especially when they're being written, for sure. And there is, like during a boot like this, there's going to be temp files being written to them. So, okay, so now this would be fine if you were just going to install, but I want to have VNC Remote Desktop for my video, so I'm going to quit. And are you sure you want to quit? Yes, I want to quit. Now I've discovered how to do that. I really like it, how to do the VNC. I always thought there ought to be a way to do it. Only thing is it's not responding, maybe just because the machine's not all that fast. There we go. I guess it'll shut down. I'm not sure what it's going to do. We'll see. Unless it reboots again. I think it did. You wouldn't think it would reboot. You think it would shut down, or a lot of them will just sit there, Okay, now I'm going to use my arrow key to get up there to boot because I don't want to run the test again. We know it works, and when it gets to it, gets to the Grub menu, I'm going to either use the arrow keys to pause it or just hit Tab so I can edit it. You hit Tab to edit it. Assuming it works. I'm seeing that blinky cursor that don't look good there. It might have got out of whack from me interrupting it and everything. Surely it's not going all the way through. Looks like it already went through. And didn't give me the chance to do that. Surely it's not different than 28 was. Looks like it's just booting up like normal. Oh, it gave me the chance. I didn't do it. Okay, I'm gonna confess. I'm gonna say I'm tired. It's what it is, because I am tired. That was my fault. Okay. Like I said, I don't really want to interrupt it. It doesn't take that long. When I used the arrow keys, to get off the check and move up to the boot menu. Well, that was what the one I was supposed to edit. So I don't know if I want to hit the quit or shut it down. Yeah, I'll hit the quit because that's probably better than hard shutting it down or anything like that. That could throw something off, especially in this machine. It doesn't like to boot to the USB stick automatically anyway. I mean,
I hit continue. It was blue, so I hit it. Now I gotta wait for it to. Usually it takes a little bit too before it goes up to the next one. Oh, there's something I discovered when I was messing around in the Acer, looking at all the choices. It's it's a laptop. It has a Wi-Fi and wired, and I was on wired, and then and you need internet to use this. This is Netinstall. Everything's coming from the internet, so don't even try this one without internet connection. And you shouldn't use Wi-Fi to install. You should use wired connection. It'll tell you that when you read this stuff, but well, it's not even hooked up until you hook it up. So that's what I did. I went into the networking and I saw the Wi-Fi, and I said, well, let's see if that works. So I hooked it up and it worked. And then I went back and then I went back and what did I do? Anyway, I think it was a matter of time. I think what happened is all of a sudden I was doing the remote desktop. I lost my connection to my remote desktop. And I'd been fiddling around for 30 minutes, and I was actually thinking I'd go ahead and install. I shouldn't. It was a good idea that I didn't, because that hard drive's it's bad. It doesn't. I've installed on it 5-10 times, not 5 times at least, and it never worked. But I thought, well, I'll try one more time. And anyway, what was I in when it happened? I was actually in the time zone. And see, it did it here. It sets it to America Denver time zone, and I think that's different than Central Time. And I usually use Chicago, so I was going to change it, and that's when I lost connection. And I was doing it, remote desktop. I was doing it from my other machine, and then I lost connection, and so I just shut it down. So anyway, I'm going to quit this time. Yes, I'm going to quit. Now this time I'll let it reboot again. And tried to do it right. Oh, I thought I had to hit a button. I was fixing to hurry up and hit delete. But as long as it's just rebooting, it should still see the USB stick. There. Now, it'll be counting down unless you hit something. Now it'll just sit there and wait for you to do what you want to do. So what I need to do is hit the tab, and I want a space after the tab. Used to you had to hit E for edit and all this stuff. Well, you just hit tab. That's in edit mode now. Maybe that was Grub 1 and this is Grub 2. It's different. Might be what it is. But hit the tab, and then I want to type. This is already set up. You just need to know what to type. Extra command to give it. And that's the default command, and I put a space. When you add a new command, you always put a space first. inst.vnc. I tried to do it from memory, and I said vnc.inst. That's what made sense to me, VNC install, but it's not. I guess it is install VNC, but it's inst.vnc. And then just hit enter. I thought you had to hit like B for boot or something to get out of the edit mode. I think you did used to have to do that, but now you just hit tab, space, put the command you want in, and there's other things you could be doing, but this is what I'm doing. So inst.vnc, I'm going to triple check it, and then hit enter. Now, it'll boot into it'll boot into a terminal, and it'll be sitting there waiting for me to connect to it from the other machine. And then when I connect to it from the other machine, that's when the installation program will open up and it'll begin. So of course we'll see that from the remote desktop, and not from here. I'm not going to stay on I don't have to stay on the camera mode now. It's still booting up like normal, except for the added thing of that. Now watch it not work, but because I did try it on Fedora 28 Mate desktop just to see if it worked, and it didn't work. It just booted right into Mate desktop like normal, and it didn't start any VNC desktop server. But then I tried it again in Fedora 28 on that Acer laptop,
the other day when I was playing around. There we go. It should come up now. And unless they took it out of Fedora 29 or something, of this feature, which would really be aggravating if they did. Okay, there it is. Should tell me the IP address, 192.168.0.153. Yeah, same one it's been having. Set the router to always give it that IP address. And then you got to go to port 1. The instructions told you it would go to port 5901, I think, or something. That 5900 is the normal VNC port. So now we'll get on our remote desktop. And we can make a nice, pretty installation video. And that will be nice. Okay. Now this is the last, that was the last one I used. 153.1. That was the IP of that I had on the Acer laptop. I think what I'm going to do is make it into. I may make it into a. Let's just see if this is going to work. Woohoo! Yay! Now I'll make it fit that. Whoops. That isn't what I wanted to do. I hit the wrong thing. I think it's F11. I hit the full. I wanted to make it fit that first. Then I can do, full screen by hitting F11. Okay. Now let's make sure everything is working. We're in desktop. I can look at my preview to know that. Okay. So anyway, since I went ahead and bought that 8 terabyte backup drive, and my 5 terabyte this morning, it did it again. It didn't mount on the machine. I didn't notice it till I went to check my backups, and it didn't back up. And so I tried to mount it, and what I did was I powered it down and it was up and running. Sometimes it's not up and running because the power cable comes loose in it. And I checked the cables; they didn't seem to be loose. Sometimes it's because the data cable is loose because of the poor design of the tiny 1/4-inch long plugs, proprietary plugs they have on them. And so everything seemed fine with the plugs. So when I fired it back up, it said can't be mounted. I got a message on the on my screen saying it can't be mounted, some error. So I made sure it was all plugged in, like I said, and I rebooted the machine, and then it was fine. So I'm more and more concerned about it going. That cable is. It just seems like the older it gets, the looser that connector is. It's probably just wearing with the weight. Just I hardly ever move them around, but just the weight of it hanging there, it's probably making it looser. But anyway, what am I trying to say? I had originally intended on taking that drive out of there and putting it in my Lenovo i5, and then I realized, well, I don't want to have to back up everything over the network to it, and I decided I didn't really want to have it, part of it be operating system, part of it be backup. I just wanted it to be backups, and it worked. And because it's NTFS, it would work on Windows and Linux machines, but I hardly use Windows machines anymore anyway. So, but the NTFS drive broke 3 times and I had to fix it, and that was scary. The partitions, was messed up just out of the blue. So, no power loss, nothing like that. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to format that new drive. Well, I may put one of them, probably the 5 terabyte, in the Lenovo i5, and the 8 terabyte in that Acer laptop. That's what I'm saying, and make it a backup server because it's quiet. I had it on. It's quiet. I've never really used it, but it runs good when I do use it. It's quiet. I've got 2 gig of memory for it. I could put more in it. I bought a new power supply for it years ago. I bought the memory 2 or 3 years ago. It's got a broken screen, but that doesn't actually matter for if I'm going to use it like that. I don't really want to buy a screen for it. You could get one or use one for like $16 when I first got it, but I never did do it because I didn't have any real use for the machine. But if I made it a backup server, I could make it my web server. And if I have trouble with having one in the garage again, like with the the Wi-Fi, I'm going to use the TP-Link router out there. I'm going to put DDWRT on it and put it out there, make it a wireless repeater. And I bought me a switch too, an 8-port switch, so I won't have a problem with not having enough. I'll have gigabit in here. Everything will be gigabit, which would be great. Well, I'll probably still use that other TP-Link TrendNet router to get 4 more ports, and they'll be 100 megabits, but that'll be fine for a lot. And I now ordered 3 gigabit PCI cards, so that I would have at least that many, gigabit machines. So, and I found them for like $4 and something each, with good reviews. But it'll be a while till all that gets here. But the switch and the router will be here in a few days. The hard drive. Okay, back to work. All right, so English, that's me, United States, continue. Could have been talking after I did that, dummy. Okay, I don't know why I thought I needed to tell all about all that just then anyway. That's what to skip ahead for. On your keyboard, if you're on YouTube, you can hit the right and left arrow keys and go forward and back on YouTube, I think it's only 5 seconds at a time. On VLC, it's like 30 seconds or something. If VLC media player. Okay, now complete items marked with the icon before continuing. Now there's lots of stuff to do, and you have to wait for if the internet, let's see, destination, okay, automatic partitioning, date and time. Now I was doing that when I lost my VNC connection, so I'm not bothering that today. That can be done later. My host name. Now in here, in the other in the Zeus Acer, laptop, it had the wireless and wired in here. But what do I want to call it? I usually call them Bishop Co. I don't know. I don't think it really matters. BishopCo.com. Yeah. I had to think, that's what I'm still going to do. 153. Oh, look, 153//24. Now I know what that / means. That means 25. That's the netmask 255.255.2, like that. Speed 100 megabits. 1,000 megabits. Yeah. On this end. Wait a minute. That thing doesn't have a gigabit, does it? You think that thing has an onboard gigabit? Because this is not talking about my Lenovo i5. This is talking about the NetProMax. Does it really have that's an onboard? That may be a newer system than I thought it was. It's showing to be a 123 gigabit. Wow, that'd be awesome. Okay, now bishopco.com.localdomain, that's what I want it to be. Usually I name them like whatever the machine is, but since this is going to be my web server, I like to call it what my website is. Okay. Glad I noticed that. Well, I'm still kind of wondering. Now you got to wait. Okay, I hit apply, but then you got to go to the top. Please move that to the bottom right, like every other normal menu in the whole freaking world of software. Please, Mr. Fedora, or Red Hat, or whichever one besides all that. I don't know why it has another configure button down there. Well, I don't want to bother any of that. I guess you could give it a static IP or something that way, but I just use the router to do that.
Okay, now software selection. I'm going to want to do that. Language is good. English. Closest mirror is good. I won't do the date and time because I saw that and I thought, oh, I'm going to fix that. Yeah, I fixed it. Okay, let's do the destination. Now, we're going to have to say, this already has a whole Fedora 23 operating system on it. I'm going to have to make additional space available. Okay, I'm not going to encrypt the data. I still want to do automatic. Let's see. And it's got the disk, 74. That's the 80 gigabyte disk. You see, it only has 101.47 megabytes free, so obviously you can't use that. I'm just going to make sure if there's another button to click, or do I just... I think you click the done and then it'll say you could click that, but it's already clicked. That would deselect it. Okay, add disk. No, we don't want to do that. Yeah. So I believe it'll just erase it for me. Yeah, okay, it went to the next screen that says, what do you want to do? On this one, now if you had a Windows system you want to keep, don't hit delete all. You're going to have to pick what you want to keep and what you want to delete. But I want to delete everything. This is the one with the broken root partition inside that LVM. Delete all. Now then you go down here to the bottom right and you say reclaim space. And it takes you back. And it takes it a minute, and it's checking. Now it's done. Maybe quicker because maybe if I really do have a gigabit onboard on that thing, and then this is a gigabit on this. I have a gigabit router, gigabit onboard on the Lenovo i5, and if that really is gigabit over there on the NetProMax, then that's pretty awesome. Things ought to work good. My remote desktop it is working good. So, all right, host name I did, fed that. Software selection is the next thing. Do that before you hit begin installation because you don't want just the basics. Now, I looked through this, and there's all these different ways you can do it. And what I think I've figured out, there's Fedora Server Edition, and down in here somewhere it has, I want FTP server, there's several things I want. Where is the basic website? FTP. Oh, I think that comes with the Fedora Server Edition, basic website, or whatever they call it, web server. I don't want the DNS server. Sometimes everything's not in alphabetical order. It's not in alphabetical order. It's kind of in categories, I guess. See, now we're in ABCs again. Okay, I do not see it. All right, now there's more options. I don't want, like I said, I want the XFCE desktop, but let's just go in top to bottom. Now, I don't believe there's any kind of web server. This would be XFCE GUI desktop. And you can do an Ansible node, which I wanted to learn Ansible, but it's more complicated than DNS servers, I think. Well, maybe not more, about the same to me. But you can't do a basic web server from here. Can't do HTTPD. Can't say the name of the web server now, but that's the process that it runs. That's what it installs, actually. I'll think of the name of it in a minute. I've known it for years and years. But I looked and looked and looked. I think I'm tighter now than I was the other night when I was doing this. Yeah, and so you know that's not a choice. So you can't do that. That's what you would think you'd be able to do since it's the server edition of the net install. You know. So, but down here there's something I didn't even realize was here. Web server. That's different than Fedora Server Edition. I guess Fedora Server Edition just comes with the server because the last time that's what I used, and I got my I got my web server. That wasn't a problem. But here, there's that. Oh, and there's another one that says, somewhere it says custom. I'll see it in a minute. But there's a whole lot more. See, MongoDB, MySQL, all that stuff. Which is stuff I would want if I was going to do dynamic websites. So I thought I might go ahead and, that's the easiest way to install that stuff, so I may go ahead and do it. Because I really did want to get, that's the hard part of getting dynamic websites up and running, is getting all that installed correctly. And I've done it before in Fedora 14. It's got all that stuff. I did it little, piece by piece. Now I'm looking for web server or basic web server. I know I saw that. I think it's called Basic Web Server. And here's what I was saying, is you can click stuff in one of these sections and then go to another one, and it doesn't, and if you go back again, it's still there, so I think it will go ahead and install everything you click. But I tried that before in Fedora 23, 21 and 23, and it didn't work with the net install. You only got like whichever one of these radio buttons you had, that's what you got. You didn't get anything else. And I think it came out when you moved. Then again, maybe it didn't, and it just fools you. I can't remember. It's been too long. I don't see what I saw before. Infrastructure server. Let's see. Infrastructure. Where's the custom one? There's one that said custom. Oh. Maybe they took it out of 29. I was in 28 when I was doing that. Oh, there it is. The top one. Fedora Custom Operating System. Alright, let's see what's in there. Oddly enough, it seems to be all be going, around the what you would have in a GUI desktop. What's kind of funny though, let's see, one of them you could pick from all the desktops. You can do more than one, which I used to do a lot. Okay, this one doesn't actually have a whole lot. It's kind of odd. It doesn't have web server. It doesn't have, I don't know. It seems that they would give you like a lot more options than that in there. But look at this again. Web server. Alright, that one says web server. So the funny thing is I thought Fedora Server Edition was web server, but this one says web server, and it maybe you get Apache HTTPD Apache web server. When you click on web server, maybe you get it with either one of these. And these are just the extra stuff, which some of it I want. What I'm trying to figure out is which one. Maybe they didn't do it this way. Oh, maybe it was this basic desktop. Yep. Now you can pick through all the different desktops. But I guess you're just going to get like a basic edition. You're not going to get, the like all the apps that you would get if you did the Mate edition, and stuff. Because there's Mate applications and stuff, but you can pick a few desktops
but you can't pick any servers or anything. So this is different, looks like. They've changed it up again. They always do. I mean, that's part of the whole reason to make a new one. But all the things I saw in the other one, I'm kind of like, well, I should have started with Fedora 28, but I think it'll be fine. But which one do I want to? What I want to do is pick the most important stuff, you know, the base one to start with, which is either the server edition. I want the FTP server. Oh, this is the web server. So I want the FTP server, but it's not the most important thing. I want it so I can administrate it easily. But I won't open up the the FTP port to the web though on my router, or in its router either. I learned how to set router stuff in the command line here, doing that DNS stuff. And I've got those commands, so it's not that I can do it out of my top of my head, but I got the idea of how to. I know where to go to, get the commands now. Didn't mean to roll back and forth. So actually, the one that seems to have what I really want as far as the server goes is the one that says web server. That's just what I'm building as a web server. Now, I didn't notice that when I installed it the first when I did 28 here a few weeks ago. I didn't even notice that, but it was in there when I was looking at it. It was 28 and I was looking at it on the Acer laptop. So I don't want any Java. Stuff is so full of holes. I don't want anything Java on my websites. I don't want MongoDB or Duo. Oh, that's the NoSQL database. That I messed around with. It's hard to do, hard to work with. There's Webmin, and then there's another one. Maybe it is Webmin. There's an application you can install that you can administer it as easiest way I've ever seen it. It might be Webmin. There's another one, I think. I have it on the Fedora 14 system. But anyway, I can set up a SQL database with that, not in the command line or any of that other stuff. Perl, that's for developing in Perl, and that's for Ruby on Rails. I don't need that. Now you can either use Maria or PostgreSQL. Maria is the one that Fedora used to like, the default one, that, like, if you wanted to do SQL. And I think Postgre, it's an open source one, but it seemed harder to use. Tomcat Web Application Server, well, that's really for Java apps, so I don't need that. 3D printing, I don't have a 3D printer. I do want, those are graphical tools. Now that's what's crazy. They don't, well, if I understand, if it does what I think it's going to do, I can pick everything graphical that I want, and then go over here and pick my desktop, and it'll work. I don't know if I should go down here to do it or over here to do it. Maybe I better go down here to do it. As long as it's, I'll show you, and we'll see if it works. I may only get what's in here. That's what I did the last time I tried to do this. What I'm going to try right now. Ansible audio production. You don't need that on this machine. Authoring and publishing. Yeah, I want all that stuff. And I'm trying to make sure. Well, I'll go back and look again. Books and guides. Those are really good to have in case you're not online and you're broken. C development. Now, I'm not going to be doing any C development, but automake and things like that and debuggers, those are good to have. And that's the thing you got to pay attention to. Like Ruby, no, I don't. Not too many things that has Ruby that I'm going to use. PHP, I can't think of anything for that unless it was. Oh, wait a minute. That is what websites. Let's put that one on there just in case it helps me with the dynamic websites. Ruby on Rails, I never learned anything really about that. That was, I think,
think that was originally, I think they write applications in it now, but they used to, originally it was for websites, I think. Because I remember hearing about that long before I learned about servers. Cloud infrastructure, don't need that. Cloud man, Compiz, and see that's the Compiz in, which always, well, I don't need that. I'm going to do XFCE, not Mate. It comes with Mate Compiz Fusion or something they call it. Container management, I'm not going to try to do containers this time. Well, I wanted to do that, and he had to have a 64-bit system. Oh, that wasn't one of the main things I wanted to do. I just don't want to, too much overhead on the machine. Well, I don't see why I would really want to run containers on my Lenovo i5 though, especially since I use it to stream and all that. Development tools and libraries, Genie tag. Oh, okay. Yeah, that might be useful. Funny that it would mention that. Genie tag. That's a LDC and Genie tag. I can't think of why I would really need that. Design suite. Well, I'm not going to be doing graphics on this machine. Last time I put those kind of things on there just because I like them so much, I think. Then I never ever used them. Git and CVS. Now that's something you might be needing to install stuff. It says development tools, but it's actually, and you'll have stuff you won't need, but it's a lot easier to install them in a group than it is to go find them, 5 things at a time when you're trying to get some application to install. I don't want IPA, Active Directory domain. I'm still not quite sure about that one. Well, I'm not going to be changing tags. What I think Genie tag is for changing your tags in your audio and video files, but it may not be what it really for. Eclipse, I never did really learn about that. Editors, yes, I want those. See, Emacs and Vi, that's one of the first things you may need. I just already had those on that one because I had done that, when I was editing my config files for education software, electronics lab, engineering. I'm not going to put those regular things on there. I put those on my regular machine. IPA server. Service management. No, I put that on stuff one before, and it wasn't what I thought it was. Policy management, identity and policy management. That's the key to that. It's not a file server or anything. Headless management. I need that. That's really what gets you cockpit. That's kind of all I really see. I guess there's other things, but that's all I saw out of it. LibreOffice. That won't help really well. That's something you might need. So I'm going to go ahead and put XFC on it. Mate applications, well, I'm not going to do Mate. Medical, Milky Mist, I don't know what that is. Network servers, such as DHCP and Keyboard. I don't need DHCP. That's what hands out IP addresses. That's on my router. You don't want one of those running on there. That'll break your network. Office and productivity, more of that stuff. You want that. Python Classroom. I have that on the Lenovo. I wouldn't really be trying to learn Python on that machine. It's a server. It's going to be a server, not a daily work. Robotics, RPM development tools. Now, if I needed to install from an RPM build, I might want that. So, Security Lab, Forensics, System Rescue, Teaching, Security, Testing. That'll be a whole lot of, the Security Lab is a whole lot of apps that I can't use because they're command line, but there is about 5 of them that I do really like. It's good to be able to test your own server from your own server, so I think I'll do that. Sound and video. Well, you do want to be able to play videos sometimes, like maybe you need to watch a video to see what you need to fix or how to fix something. System tools. Client for connecting to SMB. Now, I might want a client, but I'm not going to put on the SMB server. Monitor network traffic, yeah. Text-based internet, that might be something I need before I get the GUI on there. Window manager. Now, I'm not quite sure what they are, but they could be useful, so I'm going to, that aren't part of a larger desktop. Now let's go back to the top and go down again. Guest agents, hypervisor, that's to do with virtual stuff. I'm not going to do it. You can't run virtual machines on here. It's not powerful enough. Load balancer. I tried messing with those before. They're hard. I kind of like to have. It'd be. I'm going to do it because maybe if I can set it up, I can make sure that, you know, people don't use all my bandwidth. That's the whole point, you know. Well, this is not about bandwidth, though. This is just about load balancing the work on the machine. Well, TCP, HTTP. I'm going to put it on there. Maybe I can figure out how to use it. MongoDB, MariaDB. Now, see, especially if I'm going to use that stuff, I may need to have that. Make this not bring the machine to a halt. Perl, PHP, Ruby, Postgre. You don't need more than one SQL setup anyway. 3D printing, no. Administrative tools. Excuse me. Authoring and publishing, books and guides, Compiz. Only one that even sounds familiar to me is Genie tag, so I don't guess I need that. Okay. Now, see, you can build a complete desktop system this way, too, and get everything you want. At least if you can do what I think you can do, and that's pick all this stuff, and then, well, I mean, if you're going to do a desktop system, you might just start with Make Desktop, you know, or whatever desktop you want. I always think, oh, mate, I want that, but I'm not going to do Mate Desktop on here. I already know that these machines can't handle Mate Desktop well enough to put it on there. See, well, no, this one I don't want to be a backup server. I want it just to be a web server, so I don't think I need that. Okay, now, what I did before is I clicked around and it's taking a little bit to show up, but actually it's not changing at all like it did before. I don't know if I thought for a minute it was something to do with the. Okay, now it changed. I might be able to pick my desktop right here. Let's go to Make Desktop again and see if it just wasn't changing. Okay, it's got the same things already checked. Maybe that's because they were all already there. So let's go. Yeah, maybe so. Now what I'm going to do is go back to web server when I actually click go, because I don't think I'll get my web server if I don't. What I'm thinking I can move around and click different things if I see different things. Actually, this all looks the same. Okay, so let's go to basic desktop. Now this does look different, I think, doesn't it?
yeah, see now I can pick desktops. Firefox web browser, I'm definitely going to want that. International text. Legacy fonts. LXDE, Mate, XFCE. Window Manager, 3D printing, audio production. Now let's go back to the server again. Doesn't look like anything changes, but I know one thing's changed. See, this one doesn't have anything to do with desktops in it. Let's go back and see if I lost any of those selections over there. I didn't lose any of what, I mean, I've been switching back and forth and I didn't lose anything. So yeah, now see, Firefox and XFCE still there. Now, some of them are in more than one category, so I think that will work. My desktop doesn't seem to have, it's so little difference that I can't tell a difference. There are some things missing, I think, when you go there to Mate Desktop. So things that are not in, that are in this web server one but not in there. Okay, so let's go to the Fedora Server Edition, and I know there's one thing in there that I want, and that is the FTP server. There it is, I saw it. And let's see if there's anything else. Don't want the DNS name server. That, it's got a bad taste in my mouth right now. And other things that, you know, dog tag, domain membership, free IPA server. I swear, mail server. You have to pick, there it is, basic web server. There it is. I just couldn't see it a while ago. MySQL's in this, see, that I already had checked. So now I'm thinking, that's the most important, two most important things really to me, so I may leave it there. I'm not, I don't know if it matters. It shouldn't matter really where you have it, but it might. Like if I'm going to lose anything out of what I'm wanting to install, I don't want to lose basic web server and FTP, because this is supposed to be a server. So yeah, and I didn't see, so I'm going to probably install with it there this time, but I'm going to try clicking everything that I actually want and see if it will do it. Okay, I think I'm pretty well getting there now. Look at that custom one. I don't think there's really anything in it that I actually want. Now, if I was building a desktop system, there would be. You used to could do this. The reason I want this to work, and I hope it works, is because you used to could do this with Netinstall, and that was what was so cool about it. Only reason I kind of quit doing it because it used to be really slow, because I didn't, you know, internet connections weren't as fast back years ago as they are now. But yeah, maybe that, since how I got to check it over here on this side, that will make me get my, I don't know where it went, but it should still be selected, XFCE desktop. There it is. Usually there's some XFCE apps and stuff that you can pick, but I don't see them. Like I know there are plenty, but I may have to find them some other way. Okay, so yeah, web server. It doesn't have basic web server or FTP, but it has all this other stuff. That's kind of weird because, like, if you're doing a web server, you really, a lot of the, really, I would say 95% of the people are not like me. They're not just doing straight HTML, and they really want all this stuff. So, but how are you going to do, if you don't have a plate? Well, maybe it does install Apache without you having to click on it specifically, but I swear I did it one time without clicking the basic web server, thinking, well, it's already got a web server, I don't want two, because there is more than one brand of web servers, one more, not the right word, but more than one web server project. Apache is an open source project, so we'll say it that way. So I think that's all I want. Let's look in the FCE desktop again. Maybe there's something in there I'm missing. Extra plugins. There we go. Applications. Let's see if that'll stay. Better get the multimedia support. I don't want that XFCE Office. I don't think I like that. I clicked on the Mate desktop when I was looking around. That wasn't what I wanted. Wrong one. Now, why would the Mate applications be in the FCE desktop section? I wonder. It may be something I want. I don't know. I do like a lot of the Mate stuff that comes with Mate. I think I could think of that. Well, I don't want DHCP, and it might be turned on. You might have to configure it, and you might not. It might just be turned on. Okay, so there we go. Now, just to make sure, if I don't get all this stuff that I've been clicking on, I'm going back to Fedora, no, where is it? There, Fedora Server Edition. So that way, if I don't get any of this extra stuff, I will at least get my server stuff that I clicked. I think since how it doesn't go away when you move around, but I swear it did that in Fedora 23 too. They didn't uncheck when you moved, but then you only got the stuff in the window you were in. Unless you could go to here, unless you have to go there to get all that stuff you check, but you click, but see, there's not that much in here. All that stuff I clicked, it's not in there. So I don't see how that would work. So I'm going back to the server edition, because that way I know for sure I will at least have a server like I had before, and I can start building on it from there. I can container management, FTP. Oh yeah, MySQL is there. I don't think there's any PHP stuff, which I don't think is a PHP website. You have to actually install like Drupal or whatever. I installed a couple of those on my Fedora 14, but there was so much editing of config files and everything. There's 2 or 3 well-known in the Fedora repos, like Drupal's one of them, I believe. But they don't just run. You have to set them up after you install them. But they're there, and they would automatically update and everything.
So then you won't have to worry so much about security if they're getting automatically updated every time an update comes out. Then you just got to do all the work of putting all of your text and graphics and music links and everything into that Drupal website. That was one I liked, or there's others I like too, but I had them set up on GoDaddy servers, but then I lost them all when I quit paying for the service. That's what I don't like about renting something. You got it on your own machine, you're running it, then it's, unless you may get broke by the lightning, I mean by the thunderstorm, but it won't be, and that's why you need backup stuff, you know, but it won't be all completely gone when you stop paying the payment, you know, when you can't afford it anymore or you just don't want to or whatever. And I downloaded everything I could off of all those dynamic websites, tried to import them into my new dynamic websites, but it didn't work. I couldn't get it to work. I had plenty of dynamic websites that were up and running on my Fedora 14 system, but they weren't ready for prime time, let's just say that. Most of them didn't have all my information. I never put all my information in them. I just got them up and running and see if I liked them or not, you know. Okay, well, I might get Firefox and all that other stuff too, but I've got the important stuff, and I don't know why it's not in alphabetical order, though. I know they have it by groups of stuff, and it is in alphabetical order, but not. But it doesn't have headers saying this is from this group and this is from that group, you know, and all that, so it's really confusing. If they'd have a header, like a subhead, you know, headings and subheadings, not header, but headings and subheadings. There it is, basic web server. It's down there, okay, headless virtualization, and then basic web server. I mean, where did they learn their ABCs? And there's no little dotted lines or anything to tell you it's out of another section, you know, another group of programs or anything. That's what they do, call them groups. You know, there's group installs. I learned how to build me a group install script for my system I'm running on right now. Okay, so I'm going to say done. Getting hungry again. I had a snack. I had a break before I started this video, and I had a snack, 2 cheese sticks and some crackers, but they're all gone now. Now you got to wait for it. Uh-oh, error checking software. Oh no. Now, maybe because I selected all that stuff in different sections, it's not going to let me do it. Oh man, this is eerily familiar. And then you got to go in there and try to go through all those menus, and why is that blink like that? Oh, I guess because it's remote desktop. It's doing something funky. You got to go in there and see where are the errors. I don't think any of them are going to have X's bomb or anything. Those don't. Let's see. What else did I do? Server edition. Workstation. I wonder if I'll try clicking on custom here in a little bit and see if. But first, I want to see if I see any errors. XFCE. It may be that you can't. It'll happily let you do it, but it won't. It will unhappily not let it go through. If that was the case, I guess I would have to just exit and start over instead of trying to uncheck all this stuff. But I'm going to look through and see. Maybe I'm trying to install stuff that conflicts. That's what I would think. But it's got to tell you for you to ever know what's what, you know. I only used those 3 sections, I believe. Web server. Oh, great.
Oh, basic desktop. That was the other one where I got some stuff. It could be something like, no, I was going to say like, if it's in the, one section, it shows up already checked in the next section when you go to the next section. So I didn't recheck the same thing over and over or anything like that, like duplicate. But there's nothing showing up with an error or anything. Now I wonder if I click on custom and it will let it go through. But I don't see anything that looks like it would be anything wrong with it in there. Just error checking software. Dadgummit. I don't know if it's taking its time or if I didn't get a good click. Try it one more time. There we go. Okay. Well, I definitely want the server stuff. That's what this is all about. I can use my group install commands, or I could even run my script on there if I wanted to, I guess. Well, I wouldn't want all the stuff that's in that script though. But it's not showing me anything. I bet I've done this before. Oh, click for details. There it is. I think I already clicked done. Yeah, I have to wait. Let's go back to Fedora Server Edition. They have stuff all over the screen, and yellow is not something that shows up either, so. Okay, here we go. Software marked for installation. It's likely cause an error with your installation source. You can quit the installer, change your software source. Oh, yeah, I let it go with closest mirror. Or changes software selection. So problem, conflicting requests. Okay. Nothing provides libgen, so and so needed by ntop. Oh, they're both ntop. Two different lib in the step. Well, there's two different files there. See if I can do a screenshot of that. Oh, modify software. Oh, okay. You can either. I don't think I'm going to get a screenshot. Let's see if I get out of here. Maybe I will. Well, I know I can go up there and get one. First, let's try that. See if it'll do it. There. Let's do it this way. Since I'm in that remote desktop, it won't work right. I want screenshots on this machine, so I'll get it with Shutter. Then I can manually say desktop, and it'll take. And it also has a countdown. The other one I can't get it to count down. The one that I use all the time. The other one I use all the time. It's fast and works good for just instant screenshots. Okay, so. I'm glad it had something to tell you. It was just down there in a weird place. I'm so glad I saw that. Not anywhere near the error message, Quit the installer. You can quit the installer, change your software sources or change software selections. So I think I'll try, I don't know if changing software sources will help, but let's try that first. If that don't work, then I'll have to go try to find this and take it out. Modify software source. Closest mirror. Okay, let's try. Oh. You gotta put it in. Oh. Well, I don't know where any of them are. Devane gives you like lists of mirrors. Proxy setup. Right click, desktop. So, oh, yeah, there's no other mirrors, so. Well, I don't need to do a screenshot of me saying done. But I do want a screenshot of that error message. I wonder if it'll look all blurry because it's sitting there shaking like that. Alright, now let's do this again. Because I want to have that for, you know, later reference with. I mean, it'll be in my video, but modify selections. Okay, now I have a screenshot that I can look at. I think I'll take another one just to make sure I've got that. That's important. Okay. So I got to take out whatever. It's in groups, so ntop. Well, that's what I really wanted to know was ntop. Great. So this is basically a bug. I mean, they put those groups in there and they're not available. And they're, I mean, what other sources are you going to use if they don't give you a list of mirrors? Devane has always given you a list of mirrors. Okay, so yeah, just go back here and try to find which one has ntop. Okay. Well, I have ntop is, let's go over here and look it up. I have an idea of what it is. It's a system monitor, terminal app. Why can't you just write? Well, I'll look at the error. No, that error. You can't just take them out from that error message. That's what you ought to be able to do, is just say, just leave it out. Just leave that whole, everything to do with that app out. You know, just don't install ntop. And then you'd be fine. Unless they come up with another one after that one. I'm sure it's slow to load. My stream's good. High performance network monitoring solutions. Oh, maybe that's to do with the load balancer then. Maybe that's just what they call it. Network monitoring. Well, I'm thinking that the load balancer might be traffic analysis, flow collection. All right, maybe that answers it right there. I don't know. I usually put a dash somewhere, but I'll leave the browser open in case I need it again. Okay. I think that was in the web server section. load balancer. That's the one I think it might be. I guess I should have did a screenshot of ntop. Oh yeah, it's not going to do it. Go back to their website and do a screenshot of that. Network traffic. Now that's the only thing that I know for sure has got something to do with that. So let's try that. Let's see. So that didn't do it. So I guess I can put that back in there. I'm still a little worried if that's even something I can use. Let's go look at it again. Get a bit of better clue, but of the original ntop network traffic pro. Okay, so ntop, and then the new one is ntop ng. Network traffic. Okay. Shop. This is definitely not the free version. They may have an open source version or something. Make sure I don't leave too many. This is the one that will use up memory for every one of those. I mean, those are not thumbnails. Those are full-size images, and they're sitting there running in memory. It's the craziest thing. But if you'll do that, it'll quit using up memory. But it still uses some. Let's see. Well, see, it's not using a lot. It's not showing up there. Shutter. It's not bad. See, it's not using up 93 megabyte though, just to be running. See. Excuse me. I keep thinking I'm done, and then it hits me again and again and again. And I get to hear it. Man, that was loud. I turned my head away from the mic, and as soon as I turned it back, it hit me again. Okay. That's probably okay then. It might, if I can make that, you know, I'm afraid I'm going to have to set that up, the config files and stuff to get it to work. But well, as long as it's not just sitting there running doing nothing, I might as well try it. You don't know unless you try it. Scripting language, administration tools. Yeah, how you going to know which group that ntop is in? Container management, development tools. Could be container management, maybe. Headless management. I installed that before without any trouble. Security tools. Testing. That's a lot of testing stuff. before I take any more in and out, let's go through the other. Go in here too. Container management, probably not. I installed it in Fedora 23 and it let me and I had no trouble, but it didn't run because it was a 32-bit machine. That's what it said. FTP, basic web server. Security lab. Okay, I'm going to say it could be security lab. So security lab we're going to take out and try that. I don't want to make 1,000 screenshots, but I need to know what it is I'm doing, you know. I mean, right now even, 'cause I'm pretty tired. If I don't have a screenshot and I forget what it is I just put in or took out, I'll be in trouble. But I'm not going to click, you know, do the done button for every screenshot and all that stuff. I'll just do what I've taken out. Putting in and taking out. I didn't do full screen yet, did I? Well, I'll just leave it like it is. Taking longer this time. Oh, found it. Yay. So it was in the security lab. I didn't necessarily need that anyway because now let's go back. Well, let's do our little, let's show this and close all those extra things. Okay. Desktop. Now we're going to begin installation. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and close that screenshot tool. Can't use it with it. Well, I can use it with it like this. It's, I don't know that I need, well, I don't really need to be in full screen. So yeah, let's just do it like that. I mean, you can see it's big enough to see exactly what I'm doing. Oh yeah, you need to go ahead and do that. Oh, where's that? I'll go ahead and make it the way it was last time, I guess. Let's see. Actually, I don't think I'll use the same passwords I used before, especially there's the NetProMax. Yeah, I guess that would be good. I guess. Let's see. Now, normally, by the time you get your passwords in there, it's done, but I don't think it'll be that fast. Looks like it's moving pretty quick, but it's got to download all that stuff. Yeah, I think I will do it this way. Okay. I'm trying to figure out where to set this so I can read it. Okay, let's do the root password first. I typed it right. I think I got them right. Now where's the done button? Okay. Now I am going to create a regular user. Not make it administrator. That really causes headaches when you do that. For me, the way if you just leave it not as administrator, and then anything you need to do, you type the root password. Okay. And I think they actually match. Okay. I don't want to have to rewrite them. Let's see. What am I going to do? Okay. Oops. Now, at least right at this moment, I'm afraid I'm going to really get myself mixed up. Still working away there. I don't know how long it'll take. I'm still working on my passwords before I forget. Okay, note to self. Now, I'll finish the rest of those noting later, but I thought I'd better write something to help keep me from getting completely lost. Now, well, that's, oh man, where was I clicked on? You know, I meant to click on the one that said, so, you know, the one up high, the one that had the FTP and the basic web server in the list. You know, that one I took out was in both of them, and I think I left it on the lower, the one at the bottom, whatever it said about web server. So if it didn't work like I hoped, if I didn't get everything I selected, then I will just be getting what was in that group, and basically I'll have to start over. Well, live and you learn. Some things it's some things it's, well, especially on the Fedora side, it's hard to find all those sort of details, so sometimes it's quicker to just try it and see if it works. And I'm just geared that way. And sometimes it works out very poorly. But it's looks like it's really going fast, which makes me wonder. But I do have 200 megabit download speed and all that. And if that thing actually, okay, if it has a 100 megabit card, then that's that's half my speed, right? But if it is a gigabit card, like it looked like it said it was, I mean, it said it in here, and this is running on the NetProMax. It's not running on my IBM, so how it couldn't? It must be a gigabit built, but it's built-in Ethernet card. I didn't know a machine that age. Maybe it's not as old as I think it is, or maybe it was just really more ahead of its time. But a built-in Ethernet card that's a gigabit, I didn't think they had anything like that on a Celeron Pentium 4 class machine. It certainly said it was. So maybe if it's downloading everything at 200 megabits, then great. So this was not what my problem was. It was the security suite had ntop in it. It didn't come from that. I mean, ntop was the problem. I'm sorry. It was missing. What was the problem? Maybe it's missing because they retired it. Guess we could go back to that site and look. It's a bit small. I've used ntop before, I think. There's that lib cap right there. We won't have it though. We won't be having this. Yeah, it could have been something that, if it, well, I think you would have to turn it on. I don't think it would be running in the background. Yeah, community, professional, and enterprise. So there's 3 versions. Community would be the, I guess, open source one. Now let's see what this is about. Oh, libcap. Yeah, that's used in a lot of things. I just remember seeing that. I don't think ntop will be mentioned in there. Powerful command line packet analyzer. And libcat, the portable C++ library for network traffic capture. Oh. Okay. I'm going to put that in that folder. It's not necessarily, some of this stuff is, you may never re-look at it again, but then you may really wish you could find it again. Windows PCAP. Window. Okay. So that's seems to be more about the Windows version of it anyway. But so that's it's still working away now. It's got installing. It takes a little bit longer. Let's see if my website's still up. It should be. Better not be down since I'm running it on a wired machine in this room here, like I used to do. If it was down now, then there would really be something going wrong. Okay, up for 15 hours. Now let's go to, let's see, Montastic. Okay, I want Uptime Robot then. Yeah, my percents are terrible. Like I said, they used to always be 98, 99, usually 99% uptime. Sometimes 98 was, not uncommon. So it's been up for, this one says 10 hours. Dawn Song. I don't know why Dawn Songs always seems to trail behind the others. Like maybe unless it's being checked at a different rate or something. I need to check that. Maybe that's what it is. Less often. I might have it being checked less often. 14 hours. Everything else has been up. And if you click on that, you can see just that. Well, that's not how you do it, is it? See if I can go back. You can't go back when you do that. Oh, no. Now it goes back. Okay, now there's all of them. There, you click on the little gear there. I want Dawn. Where is it? Dawn Songs. It's http dawnsongs.com. I wonder why it's named like that. Edit, I think. Oh, friendly name. Don't edit the URL. There. Every 10 minutes. I'm going to save that because maybe the others are on 5 minutes, but I don't think so. Okay. There we go. That looks much better, doesn't it? I made that one with a big B, I guess, just to make it look. It ought to be the opposite, really. Make me notice it. Oh, don't delete it. Dang. Those should not be so close together. Every 10 minutes. Well, let's change that to a little b, because my main website is bishopco.com. Now, I don't mind it having the capital B. That'll tell me right quick it's different. Yeah, 10 minutes. So I don't know why Dawn Songs is behind in the saying that it's been up. It hasn't been up as long as the others. 4 hours difference. That's weird. I don't really have a clue. But usually, whenever they've been down, it's the one that says it's been up. It says it like that. You'll notice that lately, anyway. But anyway, they're still up. I'll do that check now on this one because it only checks every 30 minutes. I knew it would. I figured it would be up since that other one was up. So let's go see what we got going on here. Okay, it's still working at it. It may take a while from here. I don't know. Well, last time I was doing this, sort of 28, and I thought, oh, it's maybe take a long time. And then all of a sudden, before I knew it, it was done. So it's working along pretty quick. I sure do love this remote deal so that I can do my videos, remote VNC connection. Works really well. I guess because it doesn't have any graphic user interface to slow the machine down or anything. It's just running in the command line, But I would like to, actually, that's something I'd really like to do. Let's go ahead and just close the browser. Let's see if I have. I've been wanting to do it, and so now we're waiting, so I just may not have anything in here. Doesn't look like I do. I need some ISO manager. Well, that's okay then. Well, I kind of hate to do. That's all right. I mean, I can do it, I guess. Another connect yeah, I don't have anything for ISOs, I don't guess. I guess I wasn't lucky enough to get that with the groups I installed. I got a lot of stuff I wanted. Some stuff I may never use. And missing things that I remember that I want to use, A lot of cool stuff there. A lot of cool stuff to try to learn about. Let's go to System Tools. That might be something in there. Well, I keep saying ISOs and not explaining. Can't remember what groups they would be in or anything. All this stuff, almost everything. There's a few things I did install. I want to edit. Actually, I don't have to. Oh, on the USB sticks, I don't have to edit the ISO. Well, I need to mount the ISO so that I can find that. I want to find that whatever file it is that it's booting, that you're installing I'm not booting, well, if you're booting and running, installing and running, or whatever, however, it says inst.vnc, so I guess it's installing, or either that or this is just how they say it. They don't really mean it's installing, but installing VNC, I want to get that and put it on, say, like the graphic version, put it in the folder, in this whatever folder it's in, and put it in there. And you could edit the ISO. There's ISO editing tools, and that's what I was thinking of. But actually, all I need is to mount the ISO. Well, I could go VNC over into the Fedora 2014 system because it's running. But before I even do that, let's see if there's an option in Crusader or Kaja or anything to mount an ISO. So let's say I wanted to mount this one here. Right click on it. I just opened the program, so sometimes it doesn't respond right away. Browse archive, open with Archive Manager, Disk Image Mounter. There you go. I could mount it, and then we can look through it. Well, let's just do that instead of Disk Image Writer. Oh, you can write to a disk image too. So I do have those things on there. So that's all I wanted to do was mount it. So, oh, you gotta. Oh, I think I did that wrong. Maybe not. I think I got it wrong again. I went blank. Maybe I just mistyped it the first time. Evidently, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got sidetracked by looking up there, seeing that, and I thought I don't want that running to using up resources. Okay, there it is. Fedora Server Edition. No medium. It doesn't know what to do to open it. It won't even let you select anything. I just now noticed that. Okay, so of course, the USB stick's overrunning in this machine right now, but I can look and see. Go ahead and use this side. Must be that one. Oh, there's all these different ones, I guess. Yeah, well, let's just look at them as we go. Yeah, Fedora's got all these partitions in there. Be looking for something to do with VNC. It shouldn't be an EFI, but I don't know. Okay, looks like we got two of them. Yeah, we were in there. When I mounted that one, I got this one. Pixie Boot. EFI install. And it might not be something you can find so easily either. Might be in ISO Linux. That's where I would really expect it to be now that I think about it. Not in fonts. Let's see, inst.vnc. It doesn't necessarily mean that's the name of it though. You would think there'd be something in it named VNC though. Dawn Media. Oh, okay. Now let's try. I did that one and I ended up with that too. Looks like there's another one. That's the last one, isn't it? I believe that is my boot partition. That's my home. That's my root. Okay. So I think that's, yeah, no, that one's a VFAT, which I guess it's VFAT. I think that's another way they call FAT32. Yeah, I don't see it. I thought it might be this simple matter of just finding it and copying it over, you know. Okay, so I think I might be able to search all these. Let's try it. And it's not done yet. So let's try searching these for VNC. We'll wildcard it on both ends just to make sure. Where is the wildcard? Archives, search in subfolders. Let's see if it can do that in that situation. Finish searching. Yeah, that's what I was afraid. Okay, so I'll open that up and then do it. I should have my search still in there. Finish searching. Maybe it did do it. Let's do the next one. VNC. Nope. Since I don't VNC search. Try again. This time I'll take the wildcards out just to make sure. I mean, I don't think, you know, sometimes they change the way programs work, so I don't think you really need the wildcards. It will find, by default, I think it will find, finish searching, it will find partial names and stuff. Okay, so it's not in any of that. So I don't know how I can put it in there. I'd have to read up on it and see how that's done. But I would sure like that. And I'd like to put it in every installer that I use, you know, so that I can use, when I do a video, I can do it, you know, I can do this. I can have, I thought maybe I could just copy the file, and I wouldn't try to put it into the ISO. That can get tricky. I would just, especially with the, you know, the checksums and all that stuff, it would probably check out to be bad, and you'd have to figure out how to make a new checksum and all that stuff. I would just put it on the USB stick after it was up and working, you know. And that shouldn't cause a problem, I wouldn't think. So what's that? 1 gigabyte free. That's on temp FS. Okay. 1.8 gigabyte free out of 1.8 gigabyte on run temp FS. I guess that's just a temp directory in run. Okay, and yeah, that's my root, that's my home, and then that is the boot partition for the system. I don't need to get into those. Okay, so no luck on that. It could be that actually somewhere that's not expanded, you know, like when you see ISOs are file compression format, you know, like zip and tar and all those different ones. That's what it is. It's a file compression. So it may be, well, like you can see that. I'll go back where I was when I when I mounted it. We got three. In this case, we got three separate partitions. But they were all compressed into that ISO file. So now they're expanded, and you can open them up. Normally, most ISOs, you know, Linux ISOs, I mean, well, most ISOs, I've worked with ISOs long before I got into Linux. I worked with them with Norton. Not Norton. What's that called? The one that Nero burner, CD burner. See, that's how CDs have always been done. And I really got heavily learning about it with Nero whenever I started making my own CDs of my own music, and I used Nero for that. And so I had already quite familiar with ISOs before I ever got into Linux, so it wasn't too hard for me to get the concept, you know. But usually they don't. When you mount them, there's just one. There's just one ISO partition mounted, you know, not three in this case. So. But I'm not. Yeah, I'd have to go look all that up. I think I'll go ahead and unmount that now. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Working away. Yeah, it's got to there, and the install. I guess, you know, this is the installing, so that's. I guess it didn't take too long to download it, but the installing is taking the crux of the time, I guess. I think what I'll do is look. I'll do, you know, a couple of quick searches here on that. What I'm wanting to do. Getting pretty tired now. It's getting late for me since I got up at 11 last night. I guess it might be running Tiger VNC. That is the default one they run. Installing using VNC. To allow installations on headless systems, includes a virtual network computing VNC mode, which allows graphical mode of the installation process program to run locally but display on other systems. This is what I'm doing. This is the instructions for activating it. This may be where I already went. Let's see. I was going to put this in its own little, let's put it in the Fedora. Where do I want to put it? Fedora. Linux project, I think. And then if I decide to make it its own special directories, you know, folder. I'm too tired to read it out loud. Yep, Tiger VNC. Vinegary is the one I like. I think it's much faster. Vinegary is what's on my Fedora 14 system, and it's worked so quickly and well that I forget that I'm doing VNC. Tiger is always, it's okay. It was really bad there for a while in, let's see, what, it might have been worse in Fedora 23 than it is in Fedora 28. I think that was it, yeah. A viewer, yeah, but it's not just a viewer. It has a server. It had a server because that's what it's on. KRDC is the one I've been using, and that's the one that's, ever since I started that, and then it uses Tiger VNC Server, and it's extremely slow, but it says it has a viewer. Oh, DNF install package. Assume you're using Tiger VNC. They like Tiger VNC. Okay, a direct mode, connect mode. I can really quickly, I knew I could really quickly get to which mode I'm using. Direct mode, that's what I'm using. You just type, like I did earlier, type inst.vnc, and then you just get to log in without a password or anything. And on a local network, you know, where you don't have any open ports to, you know, to the port you're using. Actually, it's not using 5900, the default port. It's using port 1. But, of course, everyone would know that by now, so everyone that wants to mess with this stuff. But, yeah, I looked at, not this page, I'm pretty sure. Well, maybe I did. It wasn't in my bookmarks. But this is where I learned how to do it. I mean, this is the same basic instructions. I had to get me a snack. Get me a little chocolate nugget, and I may have to get it. If I keep on coughing, I may have to get a cough drop. But yeah, this is how this may be the exact same page. Maybe, but just like when you're on some shopping sites like Amazon and Walmart, you can put the same page in your bookmarks 5 times, and you go back to the same page, and it doesn't show up that it's in your bookmarks. You don't have the blue star. So it's something about those way those pages work. Trying not to smack, but I heard me smacking. Well, I think it was me unwrapping the chocolate. Yeah, there's a screenshot of how you do it. And see, it says right there in the instructions, like I said, IP address port 5901. Instead of 5900, the normal port. Well, it's not how you do it. It tells you in the terminal after you do that, it's port 1. And I think I tried 5901 and it doesn't work. Oh, no. Well, yeah, I knew the IP address was an example, but, and port number. The above example. Oh, note the IP address. Oh, I thought it said note they are examples, but of course, the IP address is an example. It tells you in these instructions, I remember, that's how come I caught that. It says it will, when it boots up, it'll tell you your IP address and your port number. So I looked at it to see my IP address, expecting to see port 5901, but it wasn't. So I caught it before I got into a big headache. And what I would like to know is Kickstart consideration. I've tried setting up Pixie boot servers before. Only time I ever got it working is when I used, what's the name of that? There's a domain distro that is completely just for that. And if you can just, put that ISO on a CD or a USB and boot your machine to that, and it'll be it's a Pixie boot server, and it serves up that operating system that's on there. Can't think of the name of it right now. But you can't just put it on your regular router. If you got extra routers like me, then you can't have it on the same network that has a DHCP server, because it has a DHCP server built into it. It'll break. It'll just make everything hang up and act crazy is what it does. So what I did is get out my old Netgear router and turn off the DHCP server on it, and then I could use it. And it would be kind of fun, because I never have got it really set up and leave it or anything, because I just played with it and then took it back apart. But you can't, if you wanted to use your one and only router, then you'd have to turn off your DHCP server. Then you're going to be offline. There's actually a way to hook up. Let's see, I think I even did it. Yeah, I think I hooked up the WAN port, the internet port on the Netgear router, to a port on my router that's connected to the internet. I had to do now, because then it gets an IP address. I don't remember, but there's a way anyway to be able to connect them up and get on the internet. Anyway, that's not what I'm looking at right now. So it just made me think of it when I saw Pixie boot. Well, plenty of word install all over the place, huh? I was just wondering if some way you can just do it. It seems to me that it doesn't say one way anything that I've seen about that. Direct mode with Anaconda, and that's how I did it. I believe it's called direct mode. Yeah, installing direct mode. Didn't work in the one with the Mate desktop though. Pretty sure I did it right. I think I tried it twice. Yeah, I tried it twice, I think, because I typed it backwards the first time. inst.vnc. I typed it vnc.inst. Try to remember it. It seems to be. Well, I think this is only considering that you're trying to do it on a system that's not a graphic user doesn't have a graphic user interface. And the connect mode's a little different. I think it's the one where you can like use password and stuff. Well, actually, I think you can use a password on either one of them. I can't remember. That one is the inst VNC space inst VNC connect equal host port. So you get, it's just more complicated to get it all typed in right. So I didn't try that one. That, and I didn't want a password or anything. I didn't want to make complications, So, oh, it's done. Okay, so let me just close this browser. Okay, the following error occurred while installing. What? This is a fatal error. Oh, crap. What? DNF error. Error in post-in scriptlet in RPM package text fonts Hebrew. You are kidding me. I don't care if I have Hebrew. Why would I have Hebrew? What did I put in there that gave me Hebrew? I didn't. Hebrew's for the Bible. That must not be the Bible kind of Hebrew. I don't know. Hebrew. I don't know how it's spelled. But the whole installation's broke. Oh, just click on it. I really thought it was going to work. Of course, I picked so many different things to install. Aborted. I don't think I've ever seen that error before. Well, that may be telling me to go back to Fedora 28 because it probably isn't. Well, really, that's two bugs, because the first one is it lets you try to install something that's missing, and then the second one, well, that's something else that's missing, actually. Error. Scriptlet in RPM package text fonts Hebrew. That's another. I think Fedora 29 is not ready for prime time. That's what I think. Because I have to quit, and I'm definitely not starting again tonight. I'm too tired. I was just thinking, oh boy, I was thinking, well, I'm so tired, but I thought, well, it'll be done any time now. Actually, it wasn't. It was good ways from being done, wasn't it? Oh yeah, 1375 of 1504. So it was, well, it was more than halfway. I think I'm gonna see if I can get that in my screenshot. Just put my arrow down there so I'll know to look there. Yep. So I'm gonna have to take it up again. I'm going back to Fedora 28 because, and I'll try what I tried this time and see if it works. Dad, come in. Well, at least now I know. Learning experience. I used to always say that, and I didn't mind it so much. I love learning, but I still do. But when something's new, it's always more fun. You don't mind the headaches and stuff. But I've been doing this since 05 now. I can't even say how many years. I'm going to try to say for how many years, but Linux stuff. So learning. The thing about Linux, about Linux, but Fedora too. It's always is developing new stuff, and it's really tries to stay on the forefront of everything. So it's always changing. Just when you get something down, it changes, And then the other thing is, if you get the very newest stuff, then you get things like this. So I don't want that anymore. I just want it to work. And if it changes, if you've seen my videos, I get really cranky when it changes, and I don't like the changes. I try not to be, because it's all free and open source. And I do always remember that, and I do always appreciate. I did a lot of appreciate the people's hard work because I did a. Looks like it. Oh, it's frozen screen because that killed my remote control when I hit exit installer. I imagine we'll go over here and look. I'm still going to hit exit, make sure it doesn't hang this program up or anything. But we'll go over here and get on the camera. But I've done a lot of volunteering in my life, and get over there and get on that other machine. And I know what a joy it can be, and I know how ungrateful people can be, and all kinds of things like that. So, all right. So we should be having. I know what a joy. Well, it's still in the screen. Let's see. Okay, it says. Okay, running the VNC server, and then it says connect here, and then it says warning, unsupported high key code, so 372 for name, 1372 ignored. Well, that's just about some warnings, but they're not fatal errors or anything. X11 cannot support key codes above 255. This warning only shows the time for key code. Okay, that's just about the VNC server, but it didn't break it. That was the initial thing, you know. So all I can do here is what I can do is take that off just the monitor like that, and I have to get in here to do it, but it's alright, it didn't take too long. I don't know, so I can zoom out. Actually, I've got it kind of dimmed down a little bit, but that's so that the screen won't be so well. When I zoomed out, it's really white again, isn't it? Anyway, yeah, you can see my head. I was hoping you would see the machine when I zoomed out, but I zoomed all the way out. Yeah. So anyway, I'm just hard shutting it down. If it'll do it, wouldn't do it before. Oh, there we go. Just close that monitor. I think I will go ahead and unmount that. I don't know that when I shut the machine down, it would unmount it, but just make sure. I don't want any damage to that ISO file. Okay, so trusty little USB stick. Well, I had a feeling. I went ahead and I took out my alcohol and I cleaned. I had Fedora and 28 written on the cap here, and then I had Netinstall 28 written on the other side. So I had a feeling, don't put 29 on it. I was going to put 29 on the cap, and I had a feeling, don't do that until you're sure everything's okay. So no, everything's not okay. So I guess I'll go back to 28. And now if I have the same problems, oh gosh, I think I will be a little less enthusiastic about grabbing every piece of software. I love to just get everything that looks interesting. But the more you've got, the more potential problems you have. You know, I mean, the more, whatever it is, the more complicated you've got your setup. You know, the more gadgets and gooply-dops is on your car, the more potential it is for things to break, especially as it gets older. We all know that. And everything is like that, you know. It's the same thing with software. Well, cars break because of software, you know. And so that was fun. but not real fun. I was going to put I had my little red pen all ready to mark on it. I was going to put it up. I'll wait. So, yeah, I'll have to start over again. I'll have to rewrite it to the USB stick again. At least maybe I won't make that same mistake. I'll tell it to restore it and do all that stuff. And, yeah, I almost went and wrote something on my... Well, I used my USB sticks on that Acer laptop and booted it up to them. Both, you know, Mate and desktop and the Netinstaller. And the Netinstaller was the only one that would do the VNC. Maybe, unless there's a way I could have done it and I just didn't know how. But I didn't see anything different from just now, you know, when I was just looking at those instructions. I almost put something on here. Because, see, that was one thing I was thinking about. Well, actually, see, there's another adapter I have with all of my... I'm not using these at all, but that thing does have a SD card slot, and so I did put the you know, the little micro or mini, yeah, micro, I think it's called, SD card in here, and tried to just turn it on. Well, it actually tried to boot to the hard drive. It didn't even try to boot to this, and well, there was nothing to boot on it. It turns out this SD card that's in this USB adapter. That's why I keep saying SD card. It's in a USB adapter. It just has some files on it because I got in so much well, what I finally figured out is I think it's been written enough times that the it's fragmented. The SD card is fragmented, and for some reason what I read, you can't, after so long, you can't get it to defragment anymore. And that's messing up easy to boot. So that's why I was thinking about buying a new. Actually, I was thinking about getting a USB stick. Well, I was looking at both the SD cards and USB sticks. But anyway, I could boot it off. You know, I could install an operating system on an SD card in that adapter, like this one right here. And then, because I won't see the one that was easy to boot, I was constantly adding and taking out files, and that's evidently what did that. Of course, with the operating system, you're going to have a temp folder that's going to be constantly doing that even more often. But they do work, because my Raspberry Pi, well, I had a break, I don't know how many, 5 times I think, and I had to fix it. Sometimes I just had to start over. Sometimes I could use Gparted to fix it. But and I kind of decided it wasn't the greatest SD card is why it's doing that. But I think it's just pretty common. I think there's some that do better, you know. But I didn't buy a SD card or USB stick because they had all these bad reviews about them being... only reason I was really thinking about doing it is because it was really cheap, you know. 128 gigabyte for $20, $19.99. Or a 64 for $16, I think it was. Or anyway. But then I got to thinking, well, why spend? I kept thinking, okay, if I get this and this and this, that's so much close. That's, you know, that's 3/4 to half. I mean, a third to a half of the price of a hard drive. And then when I saw that 8 gig on sale for $129, I've been watching that for, you know, about 2 or 3 years now. And I know that this is the time of year when they go down like that, and they usually, maybe one other time of the year they do that again, you know. And I thought, well, I better get that while I can. So I ordered it. And so I can put, like I said earlier, from what I understand and I've read, people do it a lot. They'll just buy a brand new one and just open up the little case and take it out, take that drive out, and it's a SATA hard drive that, you know, the size of a laptop drive. And I made sure that was an SATA drive in that thing, all that. The messed up drive that's in it, I'll put it back in there. It doesn't make noise or anything, but it just, I even ran Gparted on it to fix it, and it said it fixed it. And it said it had something wrong at the end, and it said it fixed it. But I'm pretty sure I ran Fixin' Pro. I don't know if I did Gparted or what, but I know I've ran like check disk on it. With when I had it FAT32, I ran like check disk on it and fixed disk and all that on it. Well, I guess fixed disk is the Linux one, but excuse me. Why did I wait so long to get a cough drop? It didn't occur to me until just 5 minutes ago. I don't know why. It's really from drainage though, so cough drops are these ones actually do help drainage a little bit. These ones, I don't think they do. That's my experience with them recently here. I really like either one of them, just about the same. I think this one might actually taste just a little bit better. But I think these help more with the drainage because of coughing. So now that I'm about to go, I'll probably get a little better for a while. Okay, so yeah, that's my commercial. That's my station break there. Advertisement. They're good. I like them. Ricola. I always thought they were ricotta or something, but I think they're Ricola. Ricola. Okay. Let's see. Well, I'm done. All I'm doing is rambling. So, yeah, I still haven't ate my supper. So I have to do that. Supper and bath time. I did not expect that. I was already tired and I went ahead and did this because I thought, well, it doesn't ever take very long. And I did think, oh, well, I do have to write that. I remembered then I thought to myself, oh, well, you do have to, write the image, the Fedora 29 image onto the USB stick. And I thought, well, that doesn't take very long. Well, I had trouble with that. And then had trouble with getting the install to run. I ended up getting through it all until the fatal error. And now it's 3 hours and 24 minutes. Thus is the typical day in working with computer software. It's fun, but it can be aggravating too. Alright, so I'm going to go now. And I guess tomorrow we'll try it again. Alright, what is today? This is Sunday. Yeah, it'll be Monday. Alright, bye-bye.